Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Full Blast Garage. On this one, we're back on the old 72 Chevelle that we're getting ready for Poverty Tour, and what else could we do but install a brand new Vintage USA gauge pack. And this is the Malibu Sweep option, which I don't know what that is, but it looked cool. So let's go ahead and put this thing on full blast. Make sure you do it on full blast. All right, so I've gone ahead and churched up everything with a little Rust-Oleum satin black. It's not tacky anymore. That's good because it was raining while I was painting, but I was hitting it with the MAP gas at the same time, so that kind of does help a little bit with the moisture in the air if you're doing that at the same time. So we have a gauge pack with speed, tach, we got temp, oil, voltage, and the fuel level. And new Vintage USA, I don't know what they've done versus the Dodge truck pack that I installed. This one, man, bravo, you guys did a great job. So the smaller gauges plug into the larger gauges, and your wiring going out to your sensors and senders all come from the larger gauges. And the power that goes to the small gauges comes from these guys. So the Dodge one, I had to kind of individually wire everything and jump, the power from each one. And each gauge had the same exact connector, which I didn't like. Change the wire colors a little bit, but these things look great. I've already gone through, found all the wires I needed, terminated them. I got my GPS speed sensor wired in. Essentially, this thing's ready to drop in the car and just plug all my sending wires together, and we'll have a working gauge pack. If you guys haven't seen the stock one, this is what I was working with here. So it's called the Sweep cluster, which I guess you could get a rally gauge pack and a sweep pack. So that just means the speedo sweeps from one side to the other, I'm guessing. So on this gauge, we had speedo, and at the very end here, fuel, and nothing else. I think everything else was just dummy lights. So you had essentially no information. I'm gonna keep this just as kind of a memento of this car and kind of how far it's came. But yeah, I mean, this is not very impressive, if I do say so, but this thing, she gonna look much better. Let me get you guys a little closer up look of the gauges. And I also installed stereo just while I got the dash out. It's a little easier because we need the Bluetooth. We're driving like 50 hours. Got to have some tunes. Got to put on the Dua Lipa. So let's go ahead, take a closer look at these guys. So I'm waiting on a light switch, should be here today. I'm just preemptively switching it because the thing was full of dirt. But there's our speedo, our tach, water temp, oil pressure, battery, gas. So I think this is like kind of like a play on SS gauges, I believe, or like an old Camaro style, the way the gauges are designed. It looks familiar to me, and I think that's where it's from. But it's an easy setup. It comes with this panel. You bolt it in from the back. There's a spacer on each side, and that's it. I mean, there's a tiny bit of a gap here, but once you put on the dash pad, that'll all be covered up, and you'll just be able to kind of go up and touch the inside of the dash pad. Not a big deal in my opinion. This AC will not be functional. I just put it in to cover the hole. And I do have a new glove box coming because this guy, you can see, very common with these old GMA body cars, this piece of plastic that flexes broke. So we got to get that out, get the new glove box in, and that's also on the way. It might not come before this video is done, but I'm going to go ahead and throw the dash in the car, get it bolted up, and then we'll start doing the wiring to get this thing working. All right, we're inside the car. Don't be alarmed by the spaghetti mess of wiring. This is just kind of us getting it kind of ready to be hooked up. So to begin with, kind of separated everything that we're gonna need. We got kind of a handful of wires over here. We got this blue, tan, gray, and white. Those are gonna be left for after I change. I'm changing the blinker switch and the headlight switch, and those have to do with the white's dimmer, the gray and the blue, I believe, are right turn, left turn. What is tan? Tan's the high beam indicator. So all those guys, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for those. But first, you got your 12 volt switched. You're gonna wanna plug that guy in to your red wire. And again, you're daisy chaining your two red wires together, and I also have my GPS red wire all connected into those. Get yourself a ground, and we're gonna ground to the black wire. And again, daisy chained, everything's all connected together in common. So then we're left with, I believe, let's see, gray and yellow temp sender. We got green is fuel, purple's tach, and yellow is oil pressure. So you kind of look through your gauges, do a little double check. Yes, those are all our gauges that we need. And those I've ran through a hole in the bottom of the car here. I'm gonna pull the wire up through, and I don't know, I hear the camera shaking. Hopefully it's not completely unhappy. I got it kind of wedged in a precarious position there. But I'm gonna pull the wires up through. We're gonna connect each thing one at a time. The wire color's different because I don't have these exact wire colors, but I did things that made sense to me. Blue, water. Black, oil. It's like a yellowy looking color. Closest thing I had to green in my mind, which I'm colorblind. And then this other wire could be gray or green. I'm not lying, I have no idea. But it runs to the tach, and it's similar to the color of what your HEI comes with from the factory. So I just hooked it up, you know, what looks like, and it goes together. But let me put some terminals on the ends of these wires, and we'll start plugging these guys in one by one. All right, fuel, which is our green, back of the gauge, hooked up to the wire I ran to the back, questionable color. And then I will let's grab oil. We'll grab oil, run it up here, hook it up next. All right, our yellow wire going to our gauges, our black wire coming from our oil pressure sender. Click, she's installed. Tach gauge, last one. All right, purple wire going to the gauges. Got that hooked up to the wire that I ran to the tach terminal on the HEI. If you guys are running aftermarket or high energy ignitions, read the directions on that, because there are some different ways to connect. I'm not 100% sure, like on your old point style, exactly what you hook up to. You might have to run a resistor through the coil. Some gauges make you do that. Not 100% sure on this pack. Luckily, we're running the HEI. We got the plug right there. We're ready to go. So now, I mean, really, I don't have anything bolted in. This thing's totally temporary because I still have a ton of work to do behind the dash. Of course, the light switch isn't hooked up, the washer switch, the radio, the speakers, which, looking at things, I might have to put both speakers on the passenger side, which is kind of different. I don't know. There's not really any room. Once you put the light switch here in the car, you don't have any kind of room for a speaker. The stock speaker was super small. I might be able to make something over here or in the center maybe to kind of hold the speaker, but I don't know. Those are like not problems to worry about when you're doing something like the Poverty Tour, where your new speaker is going to go in your dash. Let's just worry about moving, getting information from the motor, the important things. All right. Well, we got blinking lights on the old GPS. That's good. We got sweep on the gauges. Let me check the distributor to make sure I didn't knock anything off. Yeah, well guys, it sounded like no spark, and I got the little connector out that goes into the HEI plug. This guy was not crimped at all. It had heat shrink on it, but it wasn't crimped. So if you're hearing that coming from your brand new China HEI, go ahead and take a look at the wire, make sure it's actually making connection. All right, take two after only a marginal amount of panic. Might be a little flooded now. Oil pressure's climbing. We got gas. I don't think that's right. Might have to work on that. Seeing what these buttons do. Currently nothing. There we go. Got her off the high idle. You have to work on the gas gauge. We'll have to see if the temp starts climbing. I don't really understand why my buttons aren't doing anything. I got them, they're both grounded. I need to check, make sure the connection didn't back out somewhere. All right, rewired the gas gauge. Let's see if we can get anything different out of it. Should be pretty low. Yeah. She's coming up. She's coming up. All right. We got a working gas gauge. Just a wiring issue. Our temp gauge is coming up. And just really got the button issue to solve. I don't know why neither of these guys are working. Oh, they started working. I don't know what it was doing. It ain't liking it. Okay, maybe we key off. So this guy came around. We'll put it on mileage. This guy, oh, yeah, they both came around, I guess. Just took a minute. We'll put that on the hour meter. So we got an hour meter and the odometer, and we ain't got to touch those buttons ever again. And I got to lift the steering wheel a little bit to get all the way to off. The only other thing, I did have a little bit of a water leak at the temp sensor. Man, I'm always horrified torquing these brass fittings down because I've broken them before. So I try and go pretty easy. So it's this guy right here that my finger's on. I use the back of the head here, and it don't look like it's leaking anymore. So that is our temp sensor. And again, guys, don't look at any of this. This is all temporary to get this thing going. And this is kind of how I do stuff. I like to get it going, make sure everything works, runs, clean it up. I'll clean all the wiring up, put everything where it needs to go, make it look really pretty, and where it'll be safe to drive a bunch of miles. You don't want anything touching anything hot or, or having a chance to rub against something. All this will be cleaned up. It'll look like a little bit of a different engine compartment. There's not a whole lot you can do with some of this stuff. It's old dusty wires, and I'm not cutting them out. I kind of like the look of it, not gonna lie. But if you guys were wondering how easy it is to put brand new gauges in your A-body, especially your Chevelle, it's not hard, man. All you gotta do, put them in. They bolt in from the back. They got an order they go in. And literally there's plugs on these guys, the little ones, plug into the big ones, and they tell you B, C, or D, which one to plug into. And then you guys saw the wiring. That's it. You need hot, ground, tach, your speedo. Mine's GPS, because I'm fancy. And I'm probably gonna be changing tire sizes and gears and all kinds of stuff, and I don't want to deal with it. Then you just need a wire for each of these. Temp, oil pressure. Actually, you don't even need a wire for this guy. It just runs off your 12 volt hot signal and your gas gauge. And that is it. But you guys saw the buttons took a few times to come around. That was kind of strange. And then when they did finally come around, it was like I pushed it 100 times, which I probably had in all honesty. But we're gonna leave the dash just the way it is right now. She's gonna relax, sit, because I've got all kinds of wiring to look at. I gotta figure out where my turn signals are. I believe I can tap into these lights. So I think this is my left. And on this other guy, I believe this is my right. So I think I can tap into those for an indicator on my gauge, but I don't think my turn signal switch in my column's good. So I'm waiting on that. I got to pull all the guts out. You know, definitely not replacing this guy because it looks awesome the way it's rusted out. Always want a good rusty turn signal. So this stuff's coming out. New switch, all the guts in here, because I guarantee you, at a minimum, the canceling thing doesn't work on this. I'm sure. None of them ever do. But I've got that. I got to find my hot for my headlight switch. So when you pull the switch, which wire gets hot and goes to the lights? Got to wire that into my gauges because that's your dimmer. That's what you'll run to your white wire. And then, I mean, if I'm feeling, you know, really good, I'll do the headlight bright light switch too, which is probably a good idea if I can actually make them work. I've never had the brights actually come on in this car, so that might be a rewire. We'll see. But it looks like a mess, but man, now we've got information. We've got everything we need to do a road trip, really, already installed. I could throw a bucket seat in this thing and cruise it across the country with not a lot more work. But yeah, and if you guys didn't see, I went totally butch. I did a carbon fiber, which I work for a pipeline coating company. And we have carbon fiber wraps and things like that. So I did some carbon under here, which is really strong, and resin, and then glassed on top of that for moisture, just to make sure we don't get any moisture ingress in our floor. But this stuff is stronger than the old Chevy steel, I can tell you that. And we did it in the front and the back. So floors are done. They're gonna get sound deadened. And I don't reckon, this is not the right way to do anything. This is because I had these materials on hand and I thought about the time it was gonna take for me to cut the floors out and replace them. And man, I really need road time instead of the time sitting here. So I'd rather cut a few corners, get this thing on the road, do some shakedown runs, and then we'll get it, you know, sorted out one day way down the road. Well, that's where I think we're gonna call it on this episode. Got our gauges installed, got all our troubleshooting done, we got our buttons working. Shortly, I'll be installing the headlight switch, getting all those little wires connected. It's not too hard to really decipher if you've got a voltmeter. You know, see which wires change, you know, when you operate things. Pull your headlight switch. Is something now getting 12 volts, then that wire you can use as a dimmer. So that'll work. Just got to hit the directional signals. Got to get those actually working. And then the bright light switch, I'm pretty sure I got that down. That's not a big deal. We can tap into that right at the switch on the floor. But man, that's as easy as it is. That new Vintage USA gauge pack for this car is incredibly well made. I like the setup of it, much better than the Dodge truck. This car, like, they have a quick pin option. On my car, it doesn't have any sort of connector that's even close to looking like that quick pin connector. So don't buy that. If you got a 72 Chevelle with the Sweep package, you don't need that. You can just tap in wherever you need to tap in, or just run your own wires like I did, which in the long run, if your wiring is questionable, you're gonna be a whole lot happier if you just ran a brand new wire, heavier gauge, and it's not all brittle, and you're not, you know, gonna short out or just break in two. But man, we're coming along. This thing will be hopefully driving the end of next week for me. So it might be a couple weeks for you. Our videos are always about a week behind. So this will be my daily. I'm gonna put all the miles on this thing before we take it out on the road. The last time we did Poverty Tour, I did that Trans Am and I had 150 miles on it before we left on like a 2,500 mile trip. And I was stressed the whole time. Not a good feeling. I'd much rather be, you know, pretty reassured this thing's gonna get us there and get us back. And we are going even further than the tour. We're going to San Diego for a friend's 50th birthday. Shout out Josh. And then we're coming back, you know, all the way across, like halfway across the US. So in total, this thing would have pretty much went all the way across the US. And it was sitting in a field since 1982. So that's super cool. Gotta love that. So hope you guys are liking the Chevelle content. There'll be more coming up. And if you could, just take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button if you want to see my new videos right in your feed. And we appreciate all the interaction, man. The channel's kind of taken off the last couple months and super, super happy about that. So until you see me again, just go out, do something that makes you happy. Make sure you're doing it on full blast. I'll see y'all later.